Hi, today in the Small Interview Project I'll be talking to Trinh from Simply Pho, or as I came to learn today, Simply Pho. Hi Key, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
That's good. Look, thank you very much for doing the Small Interview Project with me. Simply Pho, tell me what it is you do. I've got a bit of a guess, but...
Well, I'm Vietnamese. I have a Vietnamese background.
Yep.
I'm Vietnamese born and bred, and Simply Pho is because I've been in the restaurant industry for quite a while.
Right.
And I said if I'm going to have my own restaurant or food establishment, it will be of my own origin.
Okay.
And so Simply Pho is basically a beef noodle soup concept, which is a Vietnamese most famous noodle dish, meal. It's a meal.
Yep.
And I thought I'd just bring it and basically let the locals and let the Australian people know our traditional food.
Okay.
Yeah, so I thought I'd have this establishment just to promote that.
Nice. I've got to say I'm a fan. I love your soup, so
yep.
It's really good. Your concept, the branding and everything like that, or is it a...
Well, basically, I lived in Melbourne for a number of years, and this products here proves to be very popular over there.
Sure.
And so basically I just picked out the most famous Vietnamese street foods.
Yep.
And I put it together in a simple menu that, the most popular, most well known.
Okay.
And I basically kept it simple and promote it right there. So yes, you can pretty much say it's a concept that I put together.
Okay.
Just to strictly remain in the Vietnamese culture.
Okay. Pho or pho, I hear many different variations of
yes.
it. People argue adamantly about which version's right.
Well, I pretty much call it pho now because I just get the lingo of everybody else, but it is actually pho. It's pronounced as pho. Yeah, so it's got a really deeper tone.
Right. So
as if you're asking a question, it's like pho. Yeah. Okay. So who or pho? Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it's actually pho.
And so does pho actually mean soup?
Pho means beef noodle soup.
Beef noodle soup.
Yeah. So so in Malaysia like a laksa.
Yes.
This is like a Vietnamese version, like a laksa, but we call it pho.
Okay.
So it's a style of soup.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so starting off your own concept, like your own restaurant sort of brand, how did you go about doing that?
Well, basically, I just wanted to simplify it. I wanted to select the colours, the logo, to simplify it because I want to expand it to the wider audience rather than just the Vietnamese people alone. Yep. A lot of Vietnamese people will know it straight out like that because it's like a daily cup of coffee to them. Yep. But I basically wanted to broaden the clientele base. Yep. So I thought I just chose the colours, chose the skin, chose the logos such that you can look at for example McDonald's or any fast food establishment. They have a certain character, they have a certain identity. Yes. Call it as such. And so I wanted to create my own identity for these particular products. Okay. And that's why I chose the red being very oriental, the brown being very earthy. Yep. And that's why I chose those colours. Okay. Nice. And designed the menu as such that it is movable, franchisable, and people can relate to the simple menu. Okay. Yeah.
So big plans to eventually take over the world.
Like I said, we don't know where it's going to lead. Like I said, you always start off being a small establishment, being a small business. And we don't know how the population is going to respond to it. Yep. So we kind of like to start off one step at a time, and if there's a demand, if there's a response, and then if time is right, or we're lucky enough, then we execute and we'll take it from there on in. But with any business, you've got to start somewhere and you've got to start small.
Absolutely. Yeah. And get the basic foundation in place and make sure it all works. Yeah. Okay, enough of my small talk. let me get into my 5 questions for you. Look, I think you've touched on this a little bit, but why did you own the business in the first place?
Well, it was really by chance. I've always loved hospitality. I started when I was 17, 18, from pizza delivery to small restaurants and cafes that I've worked in various numbers, and it's a profession I love. Yep. So I just fell into it. And then as you get along, and then you realise, time's just passed you by the age of 35. What do you do? Yep. And then so you start looking around, and all of a sudden a small takeaway shop came up. And I had this concept already in my head. If I was to ever have a restaurant one day, this is what I want to do. It's always in my heart because I love this concept because I eat it every day when I was in Melbourne before I go to work. So I've always had a passion for food and always a passion for this particular food. I said if I'm going to have it one day, I'm just going to keep it simple and I'm going to promote this product. Okay. So it was all by chance, and I saw this place, and there it is, and it was right there, and I said let's do it. Now's a better time than ever. So I executed.
Seized the opportunity.
Yeah, seized the opportunity and then did it. And at the time I wasn't really look at the market area, didn't look at what potential it was. I just basically went all out and just say, let's put one here and see what happens.
And the rest is history.
And slowly, 5 years later, so here we are.
If you had your time over again, Key, would you change anything?
I thought about this, not really,
yep.
because I believe that from all my experiences, it was the road that led me to here.
Oh, okay.
And then I look at the way I execute the menu, I look at the way I work the menu, and everything relates to what I've done in the past,
right,
to actually lead me to this particular menu, and
okay.
to basically stick to the simplicity of it,
yep.
because I know in this industry, in the location, you're very tempted to bring in other things to sell, because say, Key, why don't you bring in coffee, why don't you bring in other meals, other menus, because you've got to utilise it.
Yeah.
It's very easy to do that,
yeah.
but because of all my various experiences of the road where I've been before, led me to where I am and led me to sticking what I have.
Yep.
And when it does pay off, then it's
okay.
quite rewarding. So,
yeah, well, sometimes keeping it simple is actually
that's right.
the key, rather than trying to get complex, and you just dilute the rest of your product.
That's right. So, yeah. So if you change, I don't think I will, because it is the road that led you to here. So whether it's a bad road or a successful road, it's the same road,
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. So what would you say would be your biggest challenge in business?
Well, in business alone, like I said, the biggest challenge is to have something in your head and to execute it. That's probably the simple thing, because you're creating something you've imagined to be. So that's the simple thing. But the challenge is to basically maintain it.
Yeah.
And I think to maintain from the very first day that your concept is to the to the 5 years down the track, you've got to maintain the same level, the same quality, and the other challenge is basically your staff as well. Because everything else you can control, but staff you can't. People come and go all the time, and unfortunately you do need them in this industry to basically fulfill what you want to achieve in terms of your goals, in terms of producing the business. So I think ultimately it's maintaining your business and also your staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, given the fact that you developed the concept. Have you put in systems and processes and training processes and everything like that around to drive that consistency?
Well, I try and refine it every day. Like from the very first day we opened up till now, I've really refined the concept. Okay. So now there is a system in place, and that's why now I'm sort of slowly stepping back from the business and see if the business runs by itself, rather than me having to be here dictating it all. So I've put a system in place in terms of the kitchen, in terms of the front counter, in terms of the whole layout of the restaurant. I put it in place so that a new person come in and can basically straight away pick it up with not much training at all. So I could walk in and make a soup according to your process. Exactly, it's very, very simple. You can walk in and basically a week later you can run my kitchen there. That's how simple it can be. And
that's what you want. You don't want to look at some businesses, they're so difficult to learn.
That's right.
It just takes months and months to learn. Okay, excellent. I guess by having a little bit of time off, we'll answer this question, but how do you normally focus on working in the business and on the business? Because I know you spend a lot of time, or you have spent a lot of time in the business. How do you do all the nice things?
Well, it's funny, because when you're at the business, you really think about home, and when you're here, but when you're at home, you think about the business. So for the course of the day, as soon as you wake up, that's your mind. You're always ticking over. When you're at home, you spend time with the family, the client, and you always think, how's the business going, and how's the customers, are they okay? And when you're here, so you balance between the two. But like I said, I'm available at the moment. I can say that I'm very lucky, because I'm available if both areas, if a certain area needs me, I can be home straight away. If my family needs me at home, I can pretty much organise staff to have that day off or to have that week off.
Sure.
Or if the business needs me here, I can always tell my family, look, I'm going to be busy for the next week or so. And I think it's very good, because I've allowed myself to be in the middle. I've got a concept here that can easily run without me, and I've got a family at home that there's a system in place at home that they don't really need me as much at home, if they don't really need me to. So in a way, I'm quite.
The business doesn't need you, and the family doesn't need you.
Yeah, that's it. So I just balance out both worlds, and I go and do my own stuff.
So where do you find, or how do you manage the time to do all the nice things like your menus, all that sort of stuff, the branding, the marketing, the promotion, the strategic visions and things like that?
That pretty much goes into my head, at night time when I just lie down. I basically picture about what I'm going to do. If I like the way we just refurbished the shop, and I just basically sit and put my thinking caps on.
Okay.
And I basically just looked around because, like I said, I've got enough ideas from various places that I've worked in and other experiences. I can utilise that to my advantage, and basically, and because I've worked in other places, I've tried at other places when I was working to see what works, what doesn't. So I kind of narrow it down to what I want about things. It comes quite naturally, quite simple. Because, you've been there, you've done that, you've tried it. Therefore, when it comes to your own, you're pretty much so this should work really.
Okay, my last question for you is, what advice would you have for somebody considering going into business or going into the food business? Or
well, like I said, the food business, I reckon you really ultimately first goal is to have a passion.
Sure.
It does look very deceiving when you're from the outside in, because thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to own a cafe, it's going to look fantastic, such easy money, it's very sociable, it does look fantastic, but behind the scenes, some people really, or myself really, literally tear our heads out, and sometimes, and like I kept telling people, if the business does well, it's going to hurt you, but if the business does bad, it's going to hurt you even more. So either way, there's no in between. It's long hours, but really for you to come into a business like this, you really need a passion. A passion meaning you love food, you love service, you love people, and basically, and once you have that passion and you have a belief, you just go for it, and don't look back, don't think of anything else. Just by all means go for it and drive that passion through. Financially, like I said, put in the hard work, and it will pay itself off. But don't make a mistake of going in because you think there's a good profit margin. There's lots of money to be made. Realistically, I mean, what do they say about 6 out of 10 or 7 out of percent of businesses, 70% of business fail within the first 6 months. And that's what I mean. You go in it for the wrong reasons, monetary wise or whatever wise, then most likely you lose heart because it is a long process. Basically, I work today to reap the benefits hopefully in the next month. So you put in the hard work this week, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the rewards this week, but you'll probably end up getting it a month or 2 months down the track. So that's the patience, and that's kind of
excellent. Key, awesome answers. You've definitely got the passion for the business, so look, thank you very much for your time, and I guess I'll see you again soon for some more soup.
Thanks very much, Tony, for the opportunity. It's great having you on board. I know half the time a lot of regulars come here, we don't know them by name, we know them what they have, and it's always the usual, and that's the way we run things here. Absolutely. But it's thanks for the privilege to know what you do and to know you by name, and it's
my
great.
pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks, Ken.